Have you ever noticed this? Some people are easier to sit with. Conversations with them don't feel rushed. Silence doesn't feel awkward. You don't feel pressure to perform personality. They listen fully. And strangely, you feel calmer around them. It's subtle. You usually can't explain it. But many of them share one thing. They grew up in the 1990s. This isn't nostalgia. It's nervous system psychology. They were raised at a very specific moment in human history, right before the world became permanently stimulating. They learned how to exist before constant notifications, before social media identity, before attention became fragmented, and that changed how their brain developed. Today, your attention is trained to split. While talking to someone, part of your mind monitors your phone, your thoughts, your reactions, and how you appear. But a child growing up without constant input develops attention differently. Their brain learned to stay in one place. Because moments couldn't be paused, you couldn't rewind conversations. You couldn't rewatch experiences. If you missed it, it was gone. So the brain adapted. It stopped preparing to record life and started fully participating in it. Presence wasn't a mindfulness practice. It was survival of the moment. Another difference was boredom. Today, boredom lasts seconds. Back then, boredom lasted hours. No algorithm arrived to rescue you. No endless scrolling. So the mind did something important. It turned inward. They imagined. They daydreamed. They replayed thoughts. They learned to sit with feelings. And without realizing it, they trained emotional regulation. Their brain discovered a feeling can exist without needing instant distraction. That becomes adulthood patience. That's why they don't panic as quickly in silence, why they don't need constant reassurance, why conversations with them feel steady. There's another psychological layer. They experienced waiting. You waited for friends. You waited for TV shows. You waited for songs on the radio. You waited to use the internet. Waiting taught the brain something modern life rarely teaches. Not everything important is immediate. So their nervous system doesn't interpret delay as rejection. A slow reply doesn't feel like abandonment. A quiet moment doesn't feel like disconnection. Their brain understands connection can exist without constant signals. Then the world changed. Instant messaging, permanent availability, online identity, and they had to adapt. So they became a psychological bridge generation, comfortable with technology, but not dependent on it. They can communicate online, but they don't need an audience to feel real. This is why their silence feels different. It isn't distance, it's regulation. Their brain learned how to be alone before it learned how to be seen. And that quietly affects relationships. They don't chase every conversation. They don't force intensity. They let connection grow slowly. Not because they care less, because their brain doesn't confuse urgency with closeness. But there's also a hidden cost. People who adapt early often hide strain well. They self-regulate. They don't complain easily. They carry emotions internally. So they appear calm, even when they're tired. You're not noticing personality. You're noticing a nervous system trained in two worlds, a slower human pace and a faster digital one. That's why talking to them feels grounding. Your brain relaxes. Because for a moment, you're interacting with someone who isn't reacting to everything. They are simply present. And if you recognize yourself in this, you're not behind modern life. Your mind was trained for depth, not speed. And that's not a weakness. It's a different rhythm. If this made you understand yourself a little more, this channel explains the thoughts you never say out loud. Subscribe to Unspoken Psychology.